with this Lich. He actually went for the growing cold facet. And there's probably going to be a lot of killing this game. So I think you could get a huge frost shield going off this game.
That is cool actually, because I feel like nowadays people always go for the other facet. I have not seen this for a long time right now. So I also kind of wonder if it's intentional. You know, sometimes I feel like we always try to study too much into different facets, and then the fact of it is actually just misclick. Or I forgot to get the right facet. So I wonder which one it is, of course, but Kuku for sure. I think he's not gonna be that careless. So I'm intrigued to see how he used this frustrate talent.
Because this is what I see in my pubs a lot. Because I actually didn't get it on the notes for this facet. I only thought that every time a creep dies or a hero dies, the frost shield duration is increased, but it also increases the bounces of your ultimate. So every time a creep or a hero dies, and it also adds more bounces for that chain frost, but it will not latch and linger like Frostbound does, which is why people prefer it, because it forces you to split. It's so good in a competitive environment when you cannot group up with your allies to help somebody out, because there's an interaction that prevents you from doing so. But in a game like this, where a Timber Saw can literally just delete a hero, take a Tiny or a DK or a Magnus at some point, you can instantly get a couple extra seconds of Frost Shield, and that prevents a +1 physical damage dealer from this Radiant lineup not getting his damage out. So let's see how it works out.
Yeah, just a final note on that, you're playing into 3 melee cores. So I feel like there's more scenarios where the Chain Frost is gonna get to bounce pretty well. So maybe that's another reason why he picked the facet up as well.
I got a curious question. Which do you think is made out of a stronger material, the palm tree or the totem?
Probably the totem, I would imagine. Palm
It should
tree,
be.
we get a lot of that in some beaches, right? Like Malaysia, I feel like I've seen that around sometimes. Let's just say it's not something that I would make into a weapon going up against a totem.
Right. I honestly would love some palm trees, to be honest. I mean, it's early in the morning, and I went outside during the break, and I was like, oh my god, there's so much snow coming down, and I feel like this winter is just never gonna end.
It will be. It just feels very slow, I imagine. The days are slow.
I mean, we went on a trip with the boys during the weekend, and we did say if somebody wins the lottery, we're going to take a nice vacation down south, or maybe all the way to the southeast, you know? Like, never been to Southeast Asia before. I'd love to visit your country.
Yeah, Malaysia has a lot of good food, that's for sure. Okay, I mean, mid lane looking pretty even here. I mean, I say even, but not really. Amel is really struggling in CS right now, which is understandable, right? You are going up against a Shaker. Not going to be easy for you to get any last hits.
Also, a little kill attempt there in the top lane, too, trying to take this Snapfire down. But for now, will live at least. Natsumi and Kuku, you know, they will have this opening of quick burst damage with the melt strikes. You can't really overextend in a lane like this. You have to force a skewer or a cookie to quickly get out of there. So you need to find a nice lane balance versus this TA where you get to damage her from range. You have the Snapfire and, of course, the Shockwave from Jewel to help with that. But at the same time, not to push too deep or overextend, because that's where the TA usually is the strongest with the melt strikes.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's a good play here from potential play from Leech as well. Whereas anytime you see the cookie or the skewer in the air, you can always just stop it with the Sinister's Gaze, and then some turning around might happen from there. So a lot of room for Leech and the TA to turn it around, I feel like. So definitely agree with you.
Already
Seems like
getting
there's a bug going on.
Yeah, in-game chat banter is already activated between the two teams, and a bunch of tips being thrown around. Not willing to give their pause time over, and it doesn't look like it's that serious of a situation, but it looks like a tiny bug impacting them for now. Problem seems to be well fixed with that, and that also gives an opening to see the spell combination in use onto Natsumi. Not really effective, to be fully honest.
Yeah, it's only going to be harder, right? Like once he gets more levels of melt, you're gonna take equally much damage from the melt strike, and you might even die from it. So I think they'll probably want to do what you said just now. Just try to make them a bit lower, bit by bit, from long range spells, and then calculate the threshold and go down him. Because if you don't calculate it well, it can very much easily be turned around with the help of Lich.
Yeah, the one weakness of TA is her bad regen, right?
That's why it's really important for her to secure the Lotus, which Kukuys has done successfully for Natsumi.
Yeah, very important. Especially when you do have a very mana-hungry heroes on this team. You gotta save every single mango at least for the Lich. Curious about this bottom lane as well, where the Timber is up 13 CS. But of course it's a free farm DK so far. But I think this is gonna change with levels when the Timber Saw finally starts to prove himself a bit of a threat to this DK.
Yeah, I feel like this lane probably WS will feel slightly more happier, because if he's able to get to a good start without much pressure on him, he's gonna eventually feel better in the mid to late game against the DK, because he knows that he is the answer to the DK. He is the answer to Magnus and Tiny as well. So I feel like this is more up to Team Kukuys to really put pressure onto the Timber Saw, and by every minute Timber Saw is able to get free from the lane, it's a very good news for Talon.
Oh, close attempt there from Mikoto. Almost getting Armel down, and also Jokum there to assist. They can starve out these water runes away from Armel. Very important to make sure that this Tiny doesn't have a way to bounce back. Might even, worst case scenario, mean that the Tiny would have to walk all the way home if there's no bounty, if there's no water rune to pick up.
Yeah, there is still a bounty on the side of Dire Jungle, but so far really good job coming out from Jokum. He understands that Timber is having no pressure on the bottom side. That's why he can do this and be able to help both sides at the same time. Jing though, getting run down a little bit by Natsumi here.
Ooh.
Jokum will be the one dying first though.
Yeah, AU with the first blood here. Or the Kukuys side taking down Jokum. Not always the hero you suspect to find the first blood, but Silencer is a pesky laner to play against right now. The whole skill set is built around slows, and can turn out to be a very, very annoying lane to play against. I think, honestly, one of the worst laning matchups to ever play against, and no, it's not the Marcy IO. I hate that so bad. It's the Silencer Dazzle, actually.
Silencer Dazzle? Okay, explain to me, please.
So you got Poison Bloom slow. If you get the 4 hits, you'll reapply, and basically you can start stacking Poison Bloom. But you have Silencer. If you cast a single spell or land a single right click with your W on the target, they are just going down to 100 movement speed in no time. If you have no escape tool in the lane, you're just dead.
Yeah, that sounds strong.
It's really not fun. Like, if you have no way of pushing your opponent out of position or having an escape tool, it's unplayable.
I would imagine you are going to suffer a lot if you're a melee hero playing into this too.
Yeah,
probably going to be like, do I even want to go back to this lane? Which is what Jokum is probably thinking about right now, because ever since that death, Jokum has not returned to his lane at all. He's just roaming free right now. Alright, bye-bye, WS. You are not gonna die, so I'm out of here.
He's basically kind of done with it. But he is causing some damage on the other side. And that is him taking down Jing. So he'll find a kill and even get to contest the Wisdom. But Jewel, good reaction. He sees what's going on, and that also forces the Clockwork to go back home. And so the 7-minute Wisdoms will be split 1 for 1. Basically, the reference I was saying about the slows was, remember when laning against Venomancer was pain? It's kind of like that, just in, 3D.
Just in another more painful way.
Yeah. I can't really think of that many painful lane duos to play against unless you have like these very easy combinations to play in the lane, like Juggernaut Oracle, which was a thing to look at. Grimstroke +1 type lineups. Something that we see in today's Dota a lot, which is kind of outside the laning stage, but just global lineups of Dawnbreaker, Spectre, maybe even the Furion, that is still a very viable core hero. But in a game like this, I don't really see anything super scary. You know what to predict. You know how these Blink initiators, they're in quite sizable numbers actually in this game when you think about. Timber's a good Blink carrier, TA's another, Earthshaker, Magnus, DK, all of these cores in this game. And talking about those cores, they are already being jumped on as WS takes down Yowie for the first time.
Yeah, I feel like that's the scariest thing about Team Persol. I just don't see any hero that is able to address Team Persol in this draft. And I'm worried about Team Kukuys. I feel like WS will be able to just roam free with his best hero. And not to mention, this is a first pick Team Persol as well. So not being addressed in the draft, I think is a big issue coming out from Team Kukuys here. We have seen a lot of times that WS has proven us a lot of times he's able to solo carry games in Team Persol if he's left unaddressed. And this might just become one of those games.
Yeah, honestly, this feels like a game where this Timbersaw could easily have like 13, 14 kills at the end of the game. Like, just look at the lineup he's playing into. This could even be WS's game to carry, to be honest. No, it's not even down to the TA. WS is probably going to be the true carry of this game.
Yeah, I remember watching the last qualifier. I couldn't remember which one, but he had like 25-0 on Team Persol.
Yeah.
First pick Team Persol, nonetheless. So, yeah.
It makes you wonder, why didn't we counter this hero?
Exactly. It makes you wonder, why is this hero pickable for Talon? I feel like a lot of teams would have been just right up ban it and not want to deal with it. Just, you know, skip the headache. But yeah, we're in this game. We're seeing Team Persol, so kind of feel like we are about to ride on a Team Persol show here. Team Persol show. So
especially with the Tiny pushed
soon.
back this much, and the Magnus, if you just look at net worth, the 4K lead that the Talon team has been able to build up slowly but surely without having to make any massive impact on the map. Now there is a 4-man rotation to kill a Clockwork at least. They're really putting in the hates on the Jokum, but Talon's just farming more actively. They have more kill threat potential with this lineup of theirs at the current moment, and with Armel having such a difficult time in the laning stage, who's going to be making the plays? It feels like it's going to be like another 3 to 5 minutes of no blink daggers.
Yeah, I feel like when you are running into this kind of situation, where you feel like a play is needed but you don't have the tools to do it, normally you just want to try to protect your own jungle, making sure that you are farming as efficient as enemy. And then if the enemy is doing some kind of invasion, you are there to defend your spaces and hopefully punish the enemy from invading you. I think that's like a pretty solid way of using your spells without items. But this time around, though, look at Talon. They hit their dagger timing with Arcane Rune, immediately looking for a play. So is this where Kukuys are able to defend their move? I think is going to be very important. It's going to affect how this game goes.
Well, the positive side, they were just able to clean up that stack, but Jewel doesn't look like he's feeling very healthy here. Instant Echo Slam there from Mikoto, and no chance to even get the skewer off as Natsumi cleans him up. So yeah, Shaker finished his blink, reveals his blink, and I was just looking at the pop-ups of items being bought, and Tiny finished his face boots at sub 11 minutes. So that just tells how much in trouble he is, and WS is on the hunt.
Oh no.
For Armel here. The chase is on, the TP out. Should be enough for him to get away. Kuku almost made it through the portal to get a Sinister Gaze. That could have been a really deadly kill on the Tiny. That could have spoiled his game completely.
Definitely. I think that was a good heads-up TP from Armel as well. If he didn't press TP instantly, he would have gotten caught by the leash as well. Okay, Mikoto only 40 seconds, another 40 seconds more to the second Echo Slam. So this is where, again, Oh, they're attacking already.
Jumping in. There's the instant global silence, though. The turnaround. The first impact of the global silence shown, but Mikoto, they only got through the shield rune. Now they need to get rid of the rest as well. WS is here. Mikoto dead. RP used by Jewel. Doesn't catch anybody, though. Only finishes the kill. And WS is on the chase here onto Fing. Armel does get a nice avalanche onto the toss back. Right on top of the DK. And Yoe will go down to Kuku. And they also forced the buyback off of AU, but it's not looking very good here for the side of the Kukuys. But can they stand their ground? At least they got the Timber Saw out of the way. But that does still leave Natsumi and Kuku alive throughout that entire engagement. A dieback as well on the Silencer.
Yeah, that was painful for Silencer. But the defense all started very well, right? And this is exactly what we talked about just now. If you don't have the tools to look for a fight, then you want to be able to be ready to defend. And that was exactly what they did. They had two supports camping Tiny, and then they managed to bait Talon in, responded with Snapfire ulti and Global Silence. Unfortunately, they just were lacking a little bit more damage. And they used everything on a Shaker, so didn't have much for Timber Saw. And that was a good cleanup by WS there. Even though he died for it, but still, this is very, very good for the progress of the game. Because TA was the one that stayed alive. They took the tower, and instantly they went into the triangle to get some stacks. So, steadily building up their lead here from Talon's side.
Still a triple core lead here for the Talon side, and slowly but surely getting this DK up to pace. And when you think about their support duo as well, one is great for potentially counter-initiating. The other is maybe slightly better than that, that being the Snapfire. But it does limit this lineup a little bit here. You don't really count this Silencer as a save, as Armel going to be jumped on in the bottom lane. And without the proper use of a global silence, that would have done no good. Have to save it for bigger engagements.
He was just 200 gold away from the dagger, and then now you push him back a little bit more for maybe like 2 minutes. And that is another 2 minutes that Talon is gonna be able to roam free on the map.
Yeah.
They do have dagger on Magnus though, so might be able to make some plays here. You can see the Jing is following him very closely, ready to press the Mortimer kisses, but they are not able to find anybody here.
Silencer was considered a Snapfire counter for quite a time, just to cancel the ulti. Now you have the freedom of getting a full duration Mortimer's kisses, which you kind of have to use to some very good extent this game too.
Yeah, I feel like Snapfire, you will always want to be throwing your Mortimer kisses whenever it's available, right? And so far we only seen once, and I feel like there's just very little ways for them to do it.
Instant echo.
Mikoto.
All right.
Yeah.
Just smacks
Once
Jewel
again,
into the
right,
trees.
Magnus was scouted by the traps, so it's really hard for Magnus to find any play through side lanes, I feel like, especially if you're going on the TS lane, because most of the time it's gonna be late full of traps.
Yeah.
So they were trying to make some two-man play there, but unfortunately most likely scouted by the traps. And now they're smoking all the way top to the TS lane again, so not gonna be easy fight for them.
Yeah. Clockwork is invading at the same time, and that's the one that they're gonna be jumping on. Protecting their triangle. Not enough for the kill, though. Global Silence is also used as they're trying to disengage, but it saves Armel's life. But it will not probably save Jing's life as he is being hunted. Natsumi frozen one single right click. Doesn't want to chase under the tower. Instant invasion by Talon. So they used quite a lot just to almost kill a Clockwork. That's gonna be at least a tower down.
That was the first showing of WS Aghanim as well.
Oh, hook shot also in the back. To be able to catch one. Jewel is the one who kills the Clockwork instead, and his RP goes off. WS is kind of alone here, but he does close in the gap with the Snapfire. And with that Ags, this guy is unkillable. He's literally unkillable right now.
You have to get up from him. Oh, that's bullshit.
There goes AU. Armel trying to time it. Nice timing with the toss at least, and here comes Yoe to help out, but the Frost Shield runs out. And even with that one kill he was able to get, it's not going to be enough to get him out of the way. So Kukuys actually gets something in return.
That was a really crucial and big kill as well. Timbersaw is sitting, you know, top at the top 2 of the net worth list. So that kind of kill brings it a lot to the net worth. I feel like Mikoto was probably looking for some angles to join the fight as well, but Zone probably being zoned away from the Magnus. We didn't catch that on the camera just now. But Natsumi though, completely alone actually, with Joke himself.
Not sure if Joke himself was going to be enough. This TA is in trouble. Natsumi gets the refraction off under the tower, but there are too many instances of damage. Oh, Talon. Small mistakes here and there. I mean, first the Aghanims reveal from the Timbersaw. That backfires. Now they also lose their carry, so a couple more like this, and suddenly you're looking at a very scary game to play, and at least AU's taken down by WS.
Snapfire might be in
Rocket shows both of their locations. Mikoto has an 80 in his bottle. They could just close in on Jing. Jumping on the sidelines, Mikoto wanted to stay hidden. They were able to disengage, get straight back on the safety of their high ground.
Okay, that's not too bad. After all is Silencer for a TA. I'll say that's very much worth it. I feel like they dodged some bullets as well, like you said, right? The first Aghanim showing when backfire for Talon. And that is probably one of the harder timing for Kukuys to deal with right now. But as time goes by, and of course the punishment kill, they were able to get some levels up. Now Tiny has his dagger as well. That's why they are making this move again to the top lane. Do they have vision though?
See if they have enough targets locked down as well. Another TA trap pops right on top of Armel. Tiny suddenly losing all of his movement speed. His blink put on cooldown because of it too. So this smoke backfires. Talon awake and ready.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
If you look at the mini-map right now, there's so many information coming out from Talon's side with the traps, with multiple ops at the same time surviving on the map. They're actually having 4 observer ward, having complete vision of Team Kukuys. So all these kind of smoke plays are not going to be easy to pull out because of the amount of information that Talon have.
Yeah, it's not really fun playing Dota when you're trying to set up a play and you kind of feel forced to also make a play with these blink timers, and the enemy sees every move that you're about to make. And just kind of, well, we just have these blinks now and we can't make a play with them, so puts you in a position of thinking, could I have spent these 2.2k gold into something else, like a farming item?
Yeah, it's a hard decision to make though.
It is a really hard decision to make, yeah.
Yeah.
But Talon, meanwhile, they're applying pressure where they know there's a weak spot. A pretty free tier 2 tower taken. And with the Deso blink on Natsumi level 16, I think Roshan might just be on the list very soon.
Yeah, this time around they're taking a slightly lesser risk. They have 2 supports to help make sure that Natsumi is able to take down the tower cleanly. I like what they're doing right now. They are committing for an objective, but at the same time they are also not letting go of farm. Because when he's doing that, WS is farming, Mikoto is farming, and even with this Roshan at the time, right, it doesn't require any of the other 2 cores as well if they don't want. I feel like a Clock and TA would have enough damage for this. But it seems the Clock has other plans in his head, and Mikoto will instead come to assistance.
Yeah. So that's going to be an Aegis timer, pretty handy here for Talon. But that also means that you are going up against all those blink daggers.
Top lane.
Of a risk. Yeah, AU's doing some aggressive scouting. Topside jungle. I think they've spotted the silencer. They know exactly where he is. WS on the chase. That should be a silencer dead, unless
Use?
There we go.
Silence. Not getting off that.
Yeah. You've got the axe on the Timbersaw, but have they got any Yules on the side of Kukuys actually to cast on him? Because that's the one way you can counter the Timber Axe.
Doesn't seem like it. There's no one that likes to use guys.
Yeah, it's a pretty horrible Yules lineup.
Yes, absolutely. They'll probably have to wait until the point where Dragon Knight decides to pick up a nullifier, but that's maybe 20 minutes down the road. So
Yeah.
a lot of value here that can be found with the Agonius from Timbersaw. At least 20 minutes of that.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Certainly a pretty rough game, but at least the DK is catching up to the rest of the pack. Not too far away from the rest of the lead. Still requires that they get the right items up on the mag and on the Tiny. Jing jumped on by Jokum and Kuku. There's another toss coming in as well from Armel. And the global silence is used for this, so Timber instantly duels up. Does get stunned up by the DK. Now the chase. Get a decent amount of damage, and AU dies. There's Jewel with the RP. Pushes the Timber deep inside the base. Can they clean him up? With the toss coming out, yes they can. Yo is going to find himself a kill. Mikoto backing away from the high ground position. There's still a tier 2 tower in between. The Timber saw again. I think they were very well on point on what this Timber wants to do and how they can punish him.
Yeah, they spend all their spells trying to bring down the Timbersaw. They succeed though, but the cost is also pretty huge as well. They are gonna lose their main tier 2 tower. There's gonna be no RP, no global, and also multiple kisses for the next 1 minute as well. So you will have to find some time to buy themselves some time. That was close.
Natsumi could have followed up on that. Jewel though, with Armel. Another trap.
Oh.
Another
Natsumi?
found hero. This time Natsumi is pushed down and with the hook shot on cooldown. Don't actually want to jump Natsumi right away. Armel though wants to fight it. Everybody's on the low ground. Armel tossed away, or at least with the cookie. Jokum is dead. Natsumi still holding on to the Aegis. AU not feeling very healthy. Armel's gonna go down as well with a fissure from the side. And Mikoto will get to cleaning up. Dragon Tail Stun as well as a WS. They'll keep the Timbersaw at bay for now. Another attempt made by Jewel.
He's jumping in!
Catch him, but they just go straight after him. Echo Slam with no mercy. But they don't have any creeps nearby, so they can't really hit through the backdoor protection.
Radiant are scanning.
Wow, they are really playing without fear right now. Oh, so many times that I thought, okay, maybe this is where they disengage, but they jumped in instead, and they get a kill. So very good calculations of how much damage is needed to take them down. That was a very cool change of target also from Natsumi. Went from committing to Lish into jumping in front of Tiny, knowing that Shaker is just behind him for the backup. So really good team fighting coming out from Talon right here. And good news is they still have 1 minute of Aegis to play around. So this pressure, this choke is not gonna stop for another minute at least.
Yeah, it is going to be pretty difficult, even with their ultis up on the Kukuys side with Global Silence and the Mortimer's Kisses available. But is this DK really in fighting form? 15,000 net worth built up. They are smoking towards the bottom half of the map. Nobody's going to be shown there. A couple of their smokes already popped in the mid lane. Talon is on full chase. AU had to use his TP under the flare, dodged the hook shot, but does he have the movement speed to run away? Mikoto, oh, he goes left. AU goes right. He's trying to get the twin gate again, and there we go. We'll catch him. Looking for the silencer.
Space created.
Space is being created for sure. It's a chase that has taken a while. Still an inevitable end.
Yeah, question is, can Kukuys get enough out of this space? Yeah, it does feel like they are together as 4. It's not the easiest as well to show off lanes, especially against traps, against hook shot. So I think this is the strength of the Talon's draft really coming into show. It's really hard to play when you are behind.
And remember, this is still the second best buyback hero in the game, right after Dawnbreak.
That's true. Yeah, Dawnbreaker is probably the best, honestly.
Only thing is, can the Silencer afford a buyback? Because AU hasn't really been feeling rich on his support
Radiant's
this game.
top tower is under attack.
But there are also some hopes and dreams. Okay,
Oh.
Jokum definitely won there with that hook shot. Didn't quite connect, but more about the itemization on the Radiant side, because I just looked at the Tiny's quick buy. You know, you've got the Kanda lined up that will take a while to get there. But that's when Tiny's game slowly starts to take a turn for the better. Finally get some use out of all that damage
Radiant's
that
bottom
he naturally
tower
has. Same for the DK as well. Still a couple items away from really turning into that big evil machine. As WS, they have spotted every hero basically on the side of the Kukuys, but cannot quite get through that defender's gate. So willing to leave them there.
You
Also
can-
some fresh wards placed down, but they know about these wards, so they will lose them if they don't go for the instant D-ward right away, as they do. There's a bit of a scary trap.
You can tell that WS really understands it takes a lot for Radiant side to bring him down, and which is why he's always just playing in front of the enemy's face, and he's even making enemy think twice about whether or not they want to initiate on him, because they have to think about the Shaker coming in, the TA coming in, hook shot as well. It's not an easy decision for them to do so at all. But if they don't care about the Timber, the team can just poke them easily.
Oh, that's a lot of damage, and Armel's going to be
Yos.
taken down. And Yoe also getting sent up
He cancelled.
as they've got the DK caught. He's got no way out of this one. Those are costly deaths, and even they might get the Snapfire here. WS is already on to Jing with the quick reactions from the Outpost TP. Snap just wanted to cut another wave in top and might just pay the ultimate price of his life. Gonna be very difficult to try and dance around this Timber Saw. It's definitely making you work for it. It's a real dance, isn't it? At the same time, Jewel is dying on the other side of the map, and yeah, they're diving the base. They just killed everybody on the Cuckoo's side. And the man himself giving the real laughters.
fortified. Radiant's bottom tower
Jing, your
is under
tango dance will be remembered. But yeah, this game looked like it's being blown wide open here. TA definitely one of the better heroes to make a very good use of this kind of scenarios. One of the better power hitters besides DK and Alchemist.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Also, I want to say that we don't see much AC being built by Earthshaker, but this is a really decent AC game actually. Knowing that all three cores from enemy side are all physical damage. So in this case, AC definitely sound better than Shivas.
Yeah, an extra buffer for TA's damage output too. So yeah,
Exactly.
I do like the theory with Talon's items in this team. Maybe this agonism of the Timber Saw, the way we saw it being used at the at the very first go, wasn't exactly ideal, but it still proves its point. And into another Roshan with the TA. Always knowing what time Roshan is going to be back up, and the Radiant side also aware of the Ennet. Cuckoo in front. Cuckoo! Nice dodge with the blink! And they've got information now that allows the cores to jump in. Armel down to 50% until he gets his BKB off. AU is also pushed all the way back. He dies without even getting the global silence off, and he's gone for 30 seconds without a buyback. They're in peril of losing all of their heroes. They've lost Armel. Yoe also low, but they have already called this one a GG and let Talon have the first round.
Talon victory.
Yeah, that was a pretty clean game coming out from Talon. Not much to say, to be honest. They went with the first pick Timber Saw, didn't get punished, didn't get addressed, so immediately they present that is at least able to benefit from the regen, right, from the heal. So something like Storm, but as you say, Storm
Prepare for
might
battle.
feel a little bit weird into the Chan. First of all, you have to stay the convert, and of course you have a lot of heal coming out from Chan, so it's not the easiest Storm to do a lot of damage, so you don't have that synergy as well. So I struggle to see much synergy coming out from the Darius side. It feels like everyone is just playing for their own Dota kinda. And for Talon side, you can see a very, obvious synergy. You have Chen Gyro, you have QOP and Clockwork. Like, they play for each other, if you get what I mean. So,
yeah,
definitely synergy-wise, I would definitely favor Talon sides a bit more than Kukuys.
Well, let's just hope that the Kukuys side have learned from game number 1 what to
30
address
seconds to battle.
appropriately versus their opponents. And with these beefy cores, sure, it feels like maybe they need a bit of time to build up those couple hard-hitting items. If we are going to get a phylactery on this Night Stalker to help with the early poke, we do have a world-class Mars, at least, which we all do have to give our respects to. Armel is a fantastic mid-Mars player.
It does feel like he carries a lot of weight for what needs to happen in this game. Because he is almost like the only initiator if you count Night Stalker out.
My gratitude.
You have to make sure that he has a pretty decent dagger timing, make good decisions after it. I'm quite curious to see what itemization WS is going to go for on the Terrorblade, because we used to see Pipe Rush on Terrorblade, and then after the pipe, he will go for some individual items like Skadi, SNY, items like this. And in this game, pipe might not be the most necessary because there's just not a lot of damage coming out from the Darius side. So would he go for individual items straight away and become a second core? I'm really curious to find out.
I guess you could do that in a game like this, right? I mean, it's not exactly a very good pipe game. So I don't think that would be the item to pick up when the enemy mostly only has physical damage. But I guess you could. I mean, it's still a lot of regen for the TB. It's just not directly any extra stats for him. It's still going to be a very squishy one to kill. You have to see, actually, I do want to look up those offlane Terrorblades and their builds according to Pro Tracker. Just to see if there has been a shift with the item builds. It's not a bad Vessel game, again.
Exactly, I was thinking about that too. Yeah.
That's the item that always comes to mind, but a lot of people have been moving away from it. But can you kill heroes this game? I think that's the question. If I build Vessel, or if I build Urn in the first place, are we going to be, are we going to be fighting a lot, where the Urn could be good for regenerating your own teammates? 2, can we get to the Vessel with enough kills to actually get benefit out of the item? Because if you don't kill your opponents, then you're not getting any charges, and then the item's just a bit of a waste. But it's not a bad Vessel game.
Exactly. I'm thinking about the same questions as you asked you. I feel like with the help of Reflection, you're always going to have Vision to press a Vessel on someone, and then you are able to do damage from a very long range as well without committing yourself. So doing that, you are able to use your Sunder pretty well, either on the enemy or on your teammates. And most importantly, I feel like if you look at Darius, your DK, Night Stalker, they don't really want to buy BKB so early. Because buying BKB early means that you have to let go of a lot of damage items.
Yeah.
So I think the Vessel is going to be quite useful for until maybe even minute 25. And for with these reasons, I feel like it does make sense for him to go for Vessel. But again, it's not the most common item to be picked up by TB. So it would be very cool if WS does go for it.
Also, I'm seeing a couple Orchids here, at least in the last 2 days. A lot of offlane TBs have been picking up the Orchid around 12 minutes. That could be another one to look at. Bloodthorn is not a bad idea to upgrade to, considering the cores in your team. Make himself the big right clicker if that is the case. You were talking about the Sanjin Yasha. Could always pick up the good old Manta, but I do like SNY in a game like this where it's single target stuns almost, I mean mostly on the enemy side. Oh, Yowie is in trouble with the first Metamorph. And ain't that a good way to start the laning stage with the TB getting the first kill?
Dota is just beautiful, isn't it? Like, a year ago, you would never thought that Terrorblade is a viable offlane. And then you will also never think about, okay, maxing reflection and just doing the, applying pressure based on it. But 1 year later, we are here, just playing double carry, just seeing Gyro and Terrorblade in the same lineup. And probably building that same item as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Going for like individual items, so
It's
like,
kind
just
of
funny
like
how
Radiant's top
Dota has
tower
become.
is under
it's
attack.
kind of like with not sure if you remember a Kyrgyzstani player called Kami or AKA Dream. He used to play carry position, but when he was moved into the off lane, he still continued to play his morphling from a 3 position, but built the same items as a carry morphling, and he was winning games with it. It just took a little bit longer for him to usually finish the Kanda than from a carry position, but it worked.
Yeah, it definitely can work in certain scenarios.
Oh, Mikado might have just revealed his ward with that misclick. It's gonna run out anyway.
Unless Amir has a sentry right now.
Yeah, I was looking
Does
at the
he?
courier, like, is he bringing in a sentry? But he was bringing in the boots, so...
Alright, new
he's not-
PSA here, guys.
You're
Mid
a
players out there, listen. You can buy ops, you can buy sentry. So, if you buy sentry yourself, get a reward to go belongs to you. So don't wait until you're supposed to do it. You can always do it yourself, and you reap the reward. Okay, it's not like you don't get any reward. You get gold, you get the XP. So buy your own sentry, buy your own ops.
You finally gave me a reason to press my air horn button on my soundboard. Mid players can buy wards. Like, wow.
Yeah, because if Armeo did, he would have gotten the ops for free.
Yeah. And
150
think
gold.
about it. Think about it. I talked with this with my... I don't remember which co-caster I was working with at that time. But if you're a mid player and you know where the enemy mid ops ward is, you buy the sentry, you deward it, and you get extra money towards your bottle. For example.
True.
Easy
Yeah,
as that.
is very good. Easy steps, yes.
You can also take the wisdom runes away from your supports. Be the true carry. Okay, I'm just throwing in some ideas that people are not going to like, so I apologize to all of you support players out there. But 2 early kills here for Talon. I won't say too early, we're 6 minutes into the laning stage, but 2k lead, 2 kills. Again, all 3 cores ahead, and WS is really pulling off ahead here. He's already got an 900 gold difference to his counterpart.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Also, this is a fantastic Skadi game as well. Like DK really struggled against an item like Skadi, and who is a better carry to pick up Skadi than the Terrorblade, right?
Dire's structures
So,
are
I
fortified.
feel like in this, with this
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
trajectory, I feel like WS definitely has the potential to solo carry this game, even without his gyro, given the stat that he has right now. No one is able to touch him at all.
Thought Armel was going to make a play with that haste rune for a second there as he popped it, ran into the trees. Maybe he makes a fake rotation, but Clockwork has been sitting in between the Quap and the Mars for quite some time, just chilling next to the triangle, scouting if there's any potential wards. Maybe the Mars rotates bottom, then we can at least react and try to save this gyrocopter. He's kind of been stuck there for a while, and a very deep ward placed into the triangle too by the Clockwork. Looking at the mini map, so they'll have tabs on that triangle very early on. And Mikoto actually kills Jing. And there's the Night Stalker ulti for the first time. Mikoto on the run, 2 more seconds for the blink, but there is a deluge into a web into the Crippling Fear. So Armel will be able to take down the Queen of Pain. Now they're chasing Jokum. I think this Clockwork really doesn't have anywhere to go. Tries to TP out. And
Good
gets
heads up
out.
play.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Oh, that was painful. They even used the TP from Jing as well, just to try to secure this kill and maybe get themselves some tower damage. Unfortunately, might not be able to do both. So,
Did that
really
Void,
good heads up play.
did that Night Stalker Void came in a bit too early? Because
Yeah,
now
I'm afraid so.
Mikoto just chasing Armel. The raindrops try to help him out, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive.
Dire's
So
middle
Mikoto
tower is under attack.
gets revenge right after respawning, but it does drop him down to 110 HP, so I would not be surprised if the Queen, just after that rotation, just takes the walk of shame straight back home. Looks like the Quap is happy to stay in the lane for a bit longer with Mars being gone.
Yeah, so far so good for the side of Talon. I think that was a pretty big kill to start with on the Quap. That was a good punishment kill. They also used their next token ulti just for that as well. So unfortunately for them, they did not manage to find any map progress. So they will have to play defensive for a little bit here until the next Dark Ascension, I believe. Or unless Mars gets some really powerful rune and they are able to make some plays around it. Otherwise, I feel like Talon, they are gonna keep this pressure up. WS is already putting down some tower damage here. Kukuys is also here as well.
Yeah. Dumbledore's army brought straight to the top lane, and they're forcing DK away from his lane. Bringing in everybody, basically, to this top lane push. Except there is something looming in the back, and that is actually Armel moving in with AU. They'll get the clockwork at the least, pinned to his own cog. Very unfortunate way to die, being grinded by the cogs. But they at least fend off the attackers, and they even keep that T1 tower up. I thought that tower was gonna fall when there's so many right-clickers around the area to take it down. Buys a bit of time for the DK to still have access to the lane.
Yeah, they probably want to play a little bit safer, knowing that Tower Blade... Okay, we talk about whether or not it's a good pipe game. It seems like, even though we thought it's not that obvious, but yeah, they're still going for it. I believe this is just to amplify the strength of Chen. Like, when you have a Chen lineup, you always want to have some kind of quick aura.
Ooh.
So, this is it.
That's a fast reaction. Jing dies on the other side of the map, but they're going to drop the arena. Make sure that they're going to get the kill on to the Chen. And of course, he's always there to tip Cuckoo. Of course he is. Armel going for the TP out, and he's going to be alright doing so.
You fought and died with
They originally moved away from the tower because they saw the Naga Siren and the Mars closing in, and they killed the Clockwork. They moved away. And the moment Talon wanted to pressure that tower again, as AU's dying to Mikoto here. Is he dead in the end? You need to read this blink. There we go, right on the money. They moved straight back to the tower, and it was the same gank squad that arrived to find another kill. Now we're still fighting this battle of the top area.
You do have damage, my friend.
Jewel just doesn't have enough against Mikoto, but he wants to greet this one. Unfortunately for him, the DK can't get close enough to get some damage out. The reflection is thrown in. WS and the rocket flying in. That should seal the deal for this Night Stalker. As I say, should. He dies on the other side of the high ground, so WS can't hit him.
Okay, there was some space created there by Jewel. Thought that he's gonna die there. If he dies there, it's gonna be really bad for his game. So good that he survived. A lot of space was given to Mars as well to finish up his dagger. I think that is one item that they are desperately looking at to make some big moves for themselves.
Ooh. Pretty clutch song. It saves Jing's life. And now they've got the Queen of Pain in the silence. Jokum, though, he finds an opening to take down Jing. So he'll get a response. The Sunder! They save Mikoto in the arena! And they only caught one! They only have Jokum inside! So they lose the Pugna. They trade off the Clockwork. Sunder play comes in. Mikoto lives. Oh, that is so worth for Talon.
Oh, that was so heartbroken for Kukuys. They finally found like a really good opportunity to bring down Mikoto. They are not gonna have a lot of that once Mikoto have more items. So, you know, you kind of need to grab every shot that you can get right now in the early game while you still can. Because when they start grouping up together with Chen, with 5, Mikoto is gonna be a lot more survivable, even in these kind of scenarios. So, very clutch save coming up from WS here.
Chasing AU's Naga Siren here, the so-called Delulu. Causing a bit of issues for Jokum and WS for the chase, so he gets out. Naga TP's all the way back home. Now Mikoto Cuckoo considering a mid-push. Spamming that Dagon onto Armel. Still has a very long cooldown until that arena is going to be straight back up. But they are ready to go in. Jewel, he just walks in on the Queen of Pain with all that movement speed. Is it enough with the crippling fear though? The spear, it connects, but Jokum comes into the rescue, and now they are turning the tide. Talon push back the Kukuys. Natsumi is there now to finish off that mid T1 tower. He's also pretty hesitant though, because I think he saw the blink on the Mars.
Yeah, but now with WS closing in, they have no hesitation at all. They are 5 man. Mini 40.
That's a lot of damage. Jing.
Is he gonna die?
Tower is under attack.
Sad.
Dire's middle
The Chen
tower
army is looking
under
pretty
attack.
scary.
Yeah, you got a couple seat shots, a Hadouken, War Stop. Pretty handy abilities there. And Pipe is also up on the TV 14 minutes in, so that's a bit of a Night Stalker Void at level 2 doesn't really do any damage anymore versus that.
Yeah, I feel like this is where Talon, they probably just want to walk together and capture maps right now, knowing that they are just strong. With the Chen aura, with Chen heal, plus Pipe. As long as they are together, they will be able to do whatever they want.
Jewel pops a Stark Ascension, wanting to fight this Terror Blade, and he's bringing in the whole team for this one. But they're not doing enough. They're not doing quite enough onto WS, and he's got a Sunder available. He is not afraid to use. Good song from AU. Will buy time for everyone to get out. Almost left range to leave Jing vulnerable to a TP cancel. Mikoto with another jump, diving straight under, does get buffed up by the Pavas. With the Clockwork, they can continue going in, and he finds AU as well with another scream. Jewel,
It's daytime.
he is so slow, and Mikoto body blocking him as well. Oh, the humanity. But the damage, it's not quite enough unless Mikoto dies for tier 3 towers. Because he can. Because he can.
Good morning, sir. No one's there to help him as well. Everyone has dished each other. They know that it's much better to just find something for themselves during this time. Jing,
Yep. And they
trying
hope
his
to
best
get...
to distract enemy. And distraction he did too.
Tried to get the T1 tower, but Talon just too fast with the rotation, instantly replying. However, Armel did get a T1 tower down in the mid lane. So even if Pugna dies trying to push the top T1, Mars was able to find one. He's still quite far away from his BKB, he only just has the Ogre Club finished. But I think he wants to use this Arcane for at least one arena use. Because I think we're getting to a point where there's not a whole lot of fights to happen for this Dire team until they really start needing another set of items.
Yeah, exactly. I do think the same as well. So perhaps they want to look for some pickoffs, but the thing is, Mars, you have all the disables and initiation, but do you have enough damage? And who can you bring for the extra bit of damage to finish someone off? I'm just thinking about that, right? You probably have to bring DK for it. So it's not the easiest kind of pickup that you can find because DK is at the top lane and nobody's around there except for the TB. Actually, Clockwork and Quap are also there. Maybe DK is gonna run into some trouble soon.
Well, the Arcane pops now. The timer ran out, so wondering if they want to use it for something. Now they're TPing it towards the top lane. Yowie is in trouble. The DK needs some backup. Here we go. The arena is placed on by Armel, but there's also the Chen heal used at the same time. Yowie inside the arena helping him out, but Mikoto's just not taking any damage. And they're focusing on Kuku, but they can't get him out, and they're losing 3. And maybe even 4 as well with a hook shot used, and Jewel is trying to run away from the gyrocopter, but Armel's gone no way out of this one. And losing this fight, Arthur, I feel like we're looking at the beginning of the end pretty much.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy that after all sets of spells are thrown, look at the HP on Talon's side. They are not even dropping below 50%. So I think Talon did really understand the strength of their draft right now at the timings that they have, together with the Chen, together with the Pipe. And again, we were thinking about if this is really a good pipe game, and you said that maybe you buy it for the passives, you know, the magic resist passive, the HP regen passives, and perhaps it's just good enough reason for you to justify the pipe purchase. But so far, we have seen this pipe just giving a lot of barriers to the heroes of Talon, and there's almost no hope for Dire side to fight at all. If you look at this pipe, you'll be like, do I really want to jump in and press arena? Are we gonna have any sort of damage? Unfortunately, no.
I think maybe the combination of the pipe just reducing that minimal magic damage that the Dire side is dealing, take that away completely, and then add in the Chen heal, and suddenly you're invincible.
I also want to just give a quick comment on the itemization of the two supports from Talon. It's a Mag Rush coming from Chen, and there's a Solar Crest coming out from Cobra. So no fancy items needed, you just need to buy the right items for the right lineup, even though they look boring, but mega effective. And this is one of the things that top teams really do and spend a lot of time talking about, is how do you combine items together? How do you combine timing together? And I think Talon is giving us a very good example of it right now.
Yeah, I mean, boring Dota will still get you the W's. And I don't think you need to take any extra chances, especially when it comes to a qualifier. This team is known for, I mean, Talon is known for tryharding.
They have also known to be very consistent in qualifiers as well. It's very rarely that we don't see Talon make it to top 3 at the end of the qualifier, and most of the time they make it through. So it seems like they do take qualifier very seriously, and you can definitely see it from this game. So far, very textbook plays coming out from them, taking very minimal risks as well. Basically, you don't see them making crazy plays at all.
This TB HP regen is kind of sick. 49.6. Like, this guy's healing faster than a Timbersaw with max stacks of reactive armor. Nice little rune steal there from Jewel.
That was perfect.
Yup. That it was.
Indeed.
Also a mech lined up on the Nagasar, and you talked about the mech on the Chen. So we are really looking to extend fights. We're going to get to a point where is anybody dealing damage? Well, Talon is, I would say, quite far ahead. That they're the ones who are going to pump up the damage, and Dire is just going to try and hold on to this as long as possible. But then the Sunder comes into play again. You spend all of your resources trying to hit one target, but you kind of need to do AoE damage. But that also doesn't really fit your playbook, because it doesn't solve the problem for you. And I think there's just too many questions in the air that you're trying to answer with this lineup and the situation you're in right now. Is it that hopeless?
I feel that whenever you feel like, this draft, why does it seem like we need so many answers? I think it's probably just a result of very poor drafting.
Yeah.
To put it brutally blunt, because if you look at Talon's side, they probably don't feel that much difficulties compared to Kukuys, right? They're like pretty simple. Okay, we could tell. Why not? Sure.
They make it look so easy at this point. I mean, it's easy to put it when you're 14,000 gold ahead, but it is it does feel like the catch-up that you're playing this game as Team Kukuys is just insurmountable.
It does feel like that, yes. Okay, they are poking a little bit. Realize that, okay, we just don't have enough damage right now to fight. So we kind of have to just keep dragging until that one point where we feel like, okay, we might have some items to do damage right now, and let's go for a try. It's just that, is Talon going to give them any time to do that though? I'm afraid not. And mind you, Talon are putting so much pressure without Aegis. So just imagine they finally go and think to themselves and be like, okay guys, let's take the Aegis. At that point, how are you going to kill anybody?
Armel does have that BKB, but he won't get the chance to use it in this fight by the looks of it. He does get some healing from Jing, And with that, BKB stands his ground for long enough, but they still need to get the damage in. Team Kukuys will lose Armel, they'll lose Jing, the Sunder is used, Yoe is taken down, and with the 4th and now the 5th, that is also time to call it a day. That means that Talon will be marching on to the next round into the semi-finals, and Team Kukuys, well, at least they'll have a bit of a rest and continue back tomorrow. We'll just have to find an opponent for them. See if they fare any better.